I'm not going to waste any time here. This film is only an hour and a half long, but I have plenty to say about it. If you're here just for a review of the film, I'll timestamp the actual review part and you can skip around. Otherwise, I'm just going to be talking about it at random as well as stuff around the actual film. Back in the earlier days of Netflix streaming, there were tons of horror films on there, and I was new to all these movies, and they were all at my fingertips. The title and image of Blood Angels stood out to me, and I watched it for the first time all the way back in the ancient years of 2011. At some point, I guess I bought it, because when I was looking in my DVD collection for films to review for October, Blood Angels was there. I do remember liking it as a cool, sexy vampire movie, but after popping it in and watching it now, it is oddly so much more than that. I can't even talk about the actual movie yet because there's just more to say before we begin. So, I've been following a channel called Maven of the Eventide, and she does some vampire reviews. Yet, I looked up reviews on the film and got squat for results. Unless there's a tiny channel that reviewed it a long time ago, no one has reviewed it yet. Which surprised me because it was on Netflix. It was corny bad, but also darn good. It should at least have a cult following by now. If it's on a streaming service, I would assume that someone with a YouTube channel would have reviewed it, but I have no evidence of such. If there is one out there, then by all means, let me know. I want to see it, please. But as of right now, I'm not even sure if anyone else has seen this movie at all. I highly doubt it was released in theaters, and I think I know why. There are quite a few films out there that are movies, but also practically porn. Like Ninja Cheerleaders, Zombie Strippers, The Cook, and plenty of others that I just can't think of right now. These examples appear to be actual films. Hell, I'm aware of all of them because of Netflix back in the day. However, they are, I would not use the term erotic, but they are something along the lines of sexual comedy-ish or horror-ish. I'm not as familiar with that type of movie genre, so let me know what you guys think they are. Before I start talking about the film, let's look at the case. I don't normally do this. Usually the case doesn't offer too much other than basics, but they stood out to me, so let me explain. Number 1. The title of the film on the case says Blood Angels, as well as on the DVD menu screen, but on an IMDb search, it says it's called The Thralls, which doesn't quite roll off the tongue and sounds kinda lame, as to where Blood Angels is self-explanatory. Vampires usually crave blood, and angels, well, angels can mean sexy-ass women, and blood angels make sense. Number 2. The women on the cover look pretty. Yeah, but none of them are the main characters. There might be 3 to 5 main characters in the film, but they're not on the front cover. In fact, a couple of them are on the back cover. Number 3. The tagline under the title, being wild as in their blood, is not a very accurate description of the women in the movie. They crave independence and want to have fun with maybe a sprinkle of wild on top. They are seductive, so that could be considered wild to some people, I suppose, but whatever. And number 4, it's directed by Ron Oliver. I checked who he is, and he's been working since the 90s. He's worked on stuff like Goosebumps, Bigger, Fatter, Liar, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and some other films. He seems to mostly make kid-friendly stuff, but Blood Angels stands very far away from that. And for fun, let's just read the summary on the back of the case. These young, sexy, half-vampire women can't fly or make you humans into vampires, but they can still suck blood, move super fast, and kick some butt. If they can summon the spirit of Belial, they can redeem their full vampire powers and finally kill their seductive master. On one horrific night, these angels will battle the forces of evil to be free at last. The suspense, hilarity, and seduction will keep you sucked in till the bittersweet, enthralling end. And get it? Enthralling thralls, even though it's not in the title. I'm not even going to comment on it. I should start talking about the movie now, so I'll leave that up to you guys. Okay, now with all of that stuff out of the way, we can actually start getting into the film. Right off the bat, we get a deep voice narration talking about the Necronomicon, which is the Book of the Dead or some shit, and the dialogue sounding as if a middle schooler wrote it. Then we cut to a house, and wait. What the heck? Okay, one of my biggest pet peeves is widescreen. It looks like I'm missing 4 inches on the TV, and I know it's supposed to show slightly more on the edges, but I don't care. I have a big screen TV, so it should take up the entire screen. But I can forgive that, as many things are widescreen, but this specifically looks like it was literally just extra stretched out, like as if it is out of proportion, like then as to where normal widescreen still has the actual images look fine, this looks stretched out. This is just a peeve that I have in general with widescreen. I prefer full screen, so this is just a nitpick. This is not a huge criticism, not specific to the film, but if that doesn't bother you at all, then you'll be totally fine. The intro to our beautiful angels is pretty good. They are dressed in white in a completely 100% white room in a house, shackled up in the center of the room. A very silly minion who says very bad puns comes in and gives them dinner, which is a rat. The red blood pops against the white, looking visually appealing. The girls chew off a foot and they escape, but one girl gets killed by the evil vampire named Jones, and he eats her heart like a chicken leg and rolls into credits. I'm not implying that this is bad, but with that sort of intro alone, how the heck does this not have a following? Now we cut to an innocent girl at night, alone, waiting for her sister. So naturally, a couple of guys hit on her and want to rape. But then, if that wasn't enough, a bunch of guys are trying to rape together as a pack. But luckily, Big Sis arrives, tells her to leave, and kicks their asses. And I have to give the film some credit. The choreography is bad, but they edit it in a way that it isn't too distracting and almost makes it look pretty good. Other fights would have 10 or more cuts to hide the bad choreography, but this did it well with just a few. I wish that I could do a play-by-play of the movie like how other reviewers often do, but since I don't have access to the full movie on my computer, I'll just cover other details. This could just be me, but some of the actors actually look like some actual famous people, like they could almost be a stunt double. I apologize for any mispronunciations here. I've not heard them out loud, so my bad. Sean Robbers looks kind of like Sean William Scott, and Sonia Salama looks kind of like Cameron Diaz, and Lorenzo Lamas looks kind of like David freaking Hasselhoff. The blood effects are obviously fake, but they use them sparingly enough so it isn't an entire gore fest of bad blood. The sound effects are a large part of any action scene and are a big help to hide the bad choreography, like it enhances it just a smidge more. Again, they could have had better fight sequences, as every fight was pretty brief and amateur, but for a low-budget film, they did okay. Our main protagonist, Ashley, is the adorable, nerdy, shy girl, and through her we are formally introduced to everyone. I'm not sure how much screen time everyone has, but I feel like we got to know her well enough. Even if she is kind of cliche, she still technically goes through a character arc. The film portrays most of the guys as sex-hungry, rude assholes, with the exception of Jones, whom is sort of a confident, handsome, evil intentions kind of guy. And the love interest, Jim, they do a good job showing him as a normal guy. With the assholes for comparison, I expected him to be some soy boy pussy who can't do anything, but nah, he's just a normal dude that at least tries to handle himself, even if he may need some help later on. I want to point out that even though the dialogue is made of cheese and has some cliches, the acting for the most of the cast was pretty good. Again, for a low-budget, sexy vampire movie. The film ends with sequel bait and leaves room for more stories to be told. I really wish it had a sequel. This film has potential. Toward the end, our nerdy protagonist becomes a full vampire, literally turns sexy and witty, and together they beat Jones. This could have turned out to be a Buffy the Vampire Slayer type of universe if they really wanted to. The main difference would be they'd be a lot more focused on sex appeal, but hey, it could still have some substance. Blood Angels is a surprising treat, and I highly recommend that you check it out. If I were to rate it, it would be around a 7 or 8 out of 10, though at a base value, it is probably more like an actual 5 out of 10. This is a film that I would actually like to see a sequel or reboot to. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. At the end of the movie, it plays a random music video. It looks very weird, and the song is okay, but yeah, it's just kind of there before the credits start rolling. It's possibly there just for padding on the runtime, so it's actually a full hour and a half. I don't know. But anyway, that's my review of Blood Angels. See you next time.
With the God of the cerebus, where we're going, don't stress. There'll be plenty of time to rest. Close the curtains, brace your sternum. This is just a contest.
Did you guys like the video? If you did, like, share, subscribe, notify, comment, all that crap. If you hated it, then don't like, share, notify, unsubscribe, or comment. Wait, this is YouTube. Ah, fuck! But before you go, check out the Cinema Squad every other Sunday, where Black Angus reviews, Geoff The IronWolf and I live stream and shoot the shit. Links to their channels are in the description below. Also, links to my social media are in the description below. Hit me up on Twitter if you want to be a part of the Rookie Corner podcast.